we have you guys, I'm so excited, really excited. This is Dr. Deb Mathis. She is a holistic veterinarian in California and an amazing healer, helps tons and tons of people. She's also a dog trainer and a behaviorist and just an awesome person. So I want everyone to give a round of applause for Deb. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And we are going to talk about behavior stuff, just kind of touching on stuff, if anyone has a question, who's out there in the, I don't know, stratosphere, wherever we are, please let me know where you're from. First of all, let me know your dog or cat's name. And then let me know if you have any questions for Dr. Deb. Because there's not very many vets, especially not very many holistic not very many vets that really know about behavior stuff, especially coming from a dog trainer background, coming from, a holistic veterinary medicine background. Dr. Deb has been through all of the Chi Institute, like herbal stuff. And so, Deb, thanks so much for coming. Do you have anything you want to add? Anything that you are thinking about just off the top of your head, just generally?
Well, I'll give you a little background first. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I can
We
hear
had
you. A
some
little
technical issues
pixelated.
getting
Yeah,
in,
you're a
and
little
I
tiny bit
think it's working
pixelated, but
okay.
okay. Good.
I'm not a behaviorist, but I
Okay.
was a dog trainer for 10 years before I went to vet school. And in vet school, I did dog training and I have studied a lot of behavior and I use the types of methods that they teach the behaviorists at Davis. And so I have always gotten a lot of behavior clients and questions because there's very few behaviorists, actual veterinary behaviorists. A lot of dog trainers, but not very many veterinary behaviorists. So, um, and soon after I got out of vet school, like 3 years, I started doing Chinese medicine. And I'm pretty much 85% Chinese medicine now and 15% dog training and behavior work. So mostly I do Chinese medicine, and I thought we could talk a little bit about how to use Chinese medicine to help you train your dog. Because in Chinese medicine, the type of dog you have can be variable. There's 5 different types, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, let's
If somebody has
can
a
we
question, I'm happy to answer it, and we can jump
okay.
around.
Yeah, that's great. Can we already talk about those 5 different behavior types now?
Sure, sure. So in Chinese medicine, there's one of the theories of Chinese medicine is called five element medicine, and there's 5 different elements. And the 5 elements, I should give you a picture. The 5 elements that they have, the first one that I usually talk about is fire, and on the cycle, fire is like the first element, kind of like at 12 o'clock position on a clock. And fire animals are social butterflies. They want to play, they want to have fun, they don't care who's paying attention to them as long as somebody's paying attention to them. And they just love to be the center of attention. When they're out of balance, they tend to be either depressed or manic. So you can get both sides. Um, these constitutions are something that the animal's born with and they change a little bit over time. And so you'll see different elements at different times of your life get stronger. But your underlying constitution really dictates how you're going to respond to things, how you get sick, how you get well. And for training, we use the cycles to support the different elements. So the second one would be the earth element. And earth dogs are I love you, do you love me? How can I help you? What can I do for you? Could we just sit here and eat popcorn and watch TV all day? Or could we go out and work and learn something new? That would be fun too. When they go on a walk, they run between the groups of different people so that they're sure that everybody's doing okay and they're taking care of everybody. And that's when they're their happiest, when everybody else is happy. Um, but on the downside, when they get out of balance, they tend to be worriers. They worry about everything, and that affects their digestion. Some of them have trouble with vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Um, separation anxiety when they can't take care of you like they think they should. Um, so the typical breed for a Earth dog would be a golden retriever. They're typical, but any breed could be any constitution. They may
Mhm.
not be the common one in that breed, but they could be.
Mhm.
The next one around the circle would be metal. Metal dogs are um, kind of, they like things to be the same. They like a
Mhm.
routine. They like to eat at a certain time. They're very easy keepers because they really don't care about a lot other than themselves. They care about their people and they are fine going into a group and they'll go say hi, but then they're kind of off doing their own thing. Hi, see you later. They just want to kind of go do their own thing. They really don't bother you at all unless they want something for themselves. And then they'll be in your face and they'll be bugging you. Hey, hey, it's 1 minute to 5 and I eat at 5. So it's really important for metal dogs to keep their routine the same. But they are very good at taking care of themselves, and you don't have to do a lot as long as you meet the needs that they tell you that they need. When they're out of balance, they tend to hold everything in and they get real stiff and tight and then they blow up.
Wow.
And so they have,
Seems like I've known
can
some
have,
dogs like that. Maybe some
yeah, but
people
you don't
too.
notice it until it's way at the end. So sometimes you'll see OCD
Mhm.
behaviors in metal dogs when they're out of balance. And but most of the time they're pretty easy keepers. They're easy to be in the family and to take care of things, but they do like their independence. A lot of huskies are metal because they're bred to go running across the tundra and show you how to get through safely. It's their job, and that's what they like. The next element around the circle is water. Water is the deepest element, but it's also the most volatile elements. So you can have water in a lot of different forms. And so you can have water that's still and calm like a pool, and you can have water that's a rushing waterfall that will dig through rock. And so water could take a lot of forms. But in personality types, water dogs tend to be the ones who are super happy and super friendly with very few. They have a small circle of friends and family that they will defend with their lives. Um, but everybody else, they're a little suspicious of. When they're out of balance, they get fearful. They're afraid of things. They're the ones that run behind you and then run out and bite you and bite somebody in the butt. And then they run back to you.
Yeah,
So
I always think of
um,
fear with
they get a
kitties.
little, they get scared and especially if they're defending their family, but they're not very strong about it because they don't have faith in their owners, because their owners are a little wishy-washy. So they like their favorite, the thing that supports water the most is metal. That's the mother of water. And so you being a drill sergeant, this is the way you do it. This is how we do it. Good job. Thank you. That's what makes, because they know you, the metal person, will take care of themselves. And so they don't have to worry about them dying. And that's what they're always worried about. They're always about survival. The next element up is who water supports the most would be wood. Water makes the trees grow. And so wood dogs are large and in charge. They walk into the group and start bossing everybody around and telling them what to do. And they're the ones that go into the dog park and they're just, hey you, hey you, hey you, wait, get over here, throw me that ball. Now go get it. Now bring it back. Now give it to me. Now pet me. Now stop. They're bossy. They like to tell
Awesome.
everybody what to do. And they're very happy bossing everybody around. It doesn't bother them. They don't get, when they're in balance, they're excellent leaders, the best. When they're out of balance, however, they like to get in fights. And
Yeah, the
so
anger.
they're the ones that can be a little overreactive sometimes. Um, Although you can have reactivity in any of the elements, but the way you treat it is different. So to support wood and make it stronger, then you would be water, you would grow. But if you're timid and fearful and are you okay? I'll defend you. Just makes them stronger, makes them blow up more. So if you want to control water or control wood, then you would go back to metal because metal is this is how you do it. Don't argue with me. That's enough of that. Um, Aggression doesn't really help any of the elements in any kind of training. You tend to you lose trust when you use aggression. And so it's not about aggression, it's more about how you maintain yourself. Um, if you look at somebody like Caesar Milan, he tends to be very, this is how you do it. Don't argue with me. Good. Thank you. And he gets the good in there and he says that's a good thing. But if you get too aggressive, you'll create problems. So I remember one show I watched him chasing a fearful Great Dane around a pool. I'm just in hot weather. I'm like, okay, you're just gonna kill that dog. That's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean, I
in
like
general,
the song.
he's really good at it as a example of how to be what they used to call dominant. But
Mhm.
if you look at a pack of wolves or even a pack of dogs, there's always one in charge. They like having somebody be the boss, and it always should be the human. The human should be the boss. But you can be a benevolent boss. You don't have to be a mean boss. You can be a nice boss, but you do have to set rules and follow through. So
Mhm. Mhm.
so those are the five elements. And like I was saying, to control your dog, then you would go back to. So to control wood, you would act metal. To control fire, you act water.
Water.
To
Mhm.
control to control fire, you act water. Um, to control earth, you would act woody,
Wood.
like a
Mhm.
steamroller. You have to move it, move it, move it, push the earth out of the way. Um, and then to
Ah,
control metal, you would be fire. You'd be fun and silly because they're just like,
yeah.
annoyed. What are you doing? Okay, fine, I'll do it. So,
That's genius. I love applying the five element Chinese medicine to behavioral models. I mean, and so so maybe some concrete, because maybe a lot of people don't even know about Chinese medicine and the five element thing, but I mean, and you gave a great like synopsis of all the five element personalities. But I'm wondering, like, so maybe we could take a case and talk it through a little bit. Like, so if we have, say, and you can feel free to chime in and change the case or whatever, but let's say we have a dog that has submissive urination, tends to be like afraid in public. I've saw a lot of this over the COVID period when people were not like doing classes or socializing their animals, and they were just, I don't know what they were doing, nothing, I guess. I'm not sure what they were doing. But and so if you had submissive behavior, if you had like sort of submissive but yet fearful, would you have that within like different types of elements, or would that always be kind of that water element? And I guess the second part of my question is, you mentioned some of the techniques you would use just behaviorally with that animal, and that's great for people to know. But also, what herbal ideas would you have? I mean, and it doesn't have to be exactly specifics, but like, so say you have that submissive urinator who's fearful in public. What would that just kind of spring to mind?
so submissive urination is, like you said, like when we had COVID and nobody was going out and socializing, is lack of socialization training. They don't know how to act and they get scared when they're in a position where they don't know how to act. Now, whether that dog is water or not would depend on how the dog acts at home when he feels safe, when he feels good. And water dogs are fun and silly with their owners and they play with them and they have a great time. But as soon as somebody new comes over, they kind of get scaredy cat, go hide and watch from the corner. Eventually they may make friends with them and then, oh, now you're my friend. Now you're my family and I'm okay with it. But basically you have to build a confidence in the dog like that. So building confidence, you can start at home. Maybe they're a little sensitive to loud noises or they're sensitive to other things that you can create at home. And so then you start pairing a toned down version of the problem. Like maybe your friend comes over that they kind of know, but they're a little scared of, and you have them sit in the living room with you, and your dog goes and hides in the bedroom. But then they kind of peek out around the corner. So then you'd have your friend take a treat and throw it towards the dog and just ignore him. Don't look at him. Don't make eye contact because that's threatening. Staring, two dogs staring at each other means, should I kill you? So don't stare at them. Um, but eventually they'll come a little farther, like, well, really? You have treats? and, and then you keep throwing the treats a little closer and a little closer. And if your friend isn't good at throwing them, you can throw them. But the idea is that you're trying to associate the friend with the treats. Some dogs like to bark at the door, like they're very bossy at the door, and they bark, 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 bark. And sometimes it's a water dog who bark, bark, and then runs back. Sometimes it's a wood dog who bark, 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 and I will kill you, and I won't come off no matter what you say to me. But all of them, if they're not being aggressive with the person, that's a different problem. Then but they're being territorial. They're defending their territory, which it is. It's their house. I appreciate my dog telling me there's somebody out there. But if you want to practice that, you could have your friend come over and hang a bag of treats at the door, and you crack the door open, and while the dogs, even if they're barking, have them throw a treat over the dog's head. So they go, "What was that?" And they go, "Oh, that was a treat." And then they have to come back, bark, bark, and then throw it again. And then you open the door a little bit more, throw it again. You can have a leash on them so that the leash isn't tight. It's just to keep them from running out the door. But that makes it safe so they don't run out the door and get hit by a car. That would be bad. But there's little tricks that you can do. As far as herbal things that you can do, there's lots of Western herbs that you can try, but almost all herbs, you want to kind of have a basic understanding of the herb and the diagnosis. In Chinese medicine, diagnosis is very, very key because if you have a dog that has liver yin deficiency, the herbs are opposite a liver yang deficiency. Or in the case of maybe it's a kidney problem, maybe they were born with a little Jing deficiency. A lot of Jing is kind of your genetics, what you were born with. And a lot of purebred dogs and a lot of people that were getting dogs were going for the cute little purebred dogs. A lot of them have Jing deficiencies, and that can translate into a kidney deficiency. And your kidneys not being strong enough don't support your brain. Your brain is your Shen. That's kind of in the fire element, and water and fire connect. Water controls fire. So if the brain is a little wacko, like barking insanely at the door, we can't stop, it may be because your kidney isn't cooling it off well. And so you have to build up that connection. But I can think of at least 3 different Chinese diagnoses. There's certain things that are pretty safe to give that you can get over the counter, and obviously it's fine to try those and see how you do with those. Valerian, passion fruit. There's several different ones that are available in over threonine, different things that you can try and see how they affect your dog. Some dogs, they'll get knocked out with one little chew. And other dogs are like, didn't even slow them down. So, and there's some of them have contraindications. And so that's why it's good to work with your veterinarian or work with someone who understands exactly what's going on so that you get the right herb to go with the right dog. But training is always important. It's always important to establish a familial hierarchy that where you're the boss and not the dog, because especially with a dog who's a little bit afraid, if you're not the boss, that puts them in charge because they have a genetic predisposition to having a hierarchy. And so if they have to be in charge of you in a situation that's scary to them already, that makes them way more scared. And so you have to build up your relationship with your dog. And that's basically getting him to do things for you.
Yeah.
come when you call, if they sit when you say sit, if they do a trick when you say do a trick.
Mhm.
But that's you working with them. It's taking the time to build that relationship. Dogs are also situational learners. And so just because they know how to do it in the kitchen does not mean they know how to do it in the living room
Mhm. Okay.
or in the backyard or in the front yard, or those are all new situations, or when there's another person in the house that they've never seen
Mhm.
before. So all of these things are really important to a dog. And so you practicing in all those different situations, and it's always best to start when they're puppies, but you can do it anytime. It doesn't matter. And doing things to help them develop braveness, teaching them to be brave.
Yep.
If maybe they're afraid of noises like a can with pennies in it or something. Maybe you've even used that to discipline them a little bit. But now they've developed this anytime they hear a clinky sign, they want to run and because they're scared of it. So
Mm.
maybe you need to teach them that maybe that clinky sound isn't as bad as you thought it was. Maybe you don't want to be negatively reinforcing them. Maybe it would be better if you taught them to be brave around a clinking sound. And you can do that simply by putting cans with pennies on the floor and throwing their dinner in between them. Go get
Mhm.
it. And they knock one over and it makes a noise, but nothing happened. And there's more food. Let's go clean it up.
Yeah, that's a great, even that's just a great little tidbit. I,
Yeah, there's lots and lots of things you can do to build up their
Mhm.
braveness, and basically for like noise phobias or you're trying to get them not scared of something that they're scared of, you start with it far away and they get rewarded just for being near it. Then you get the food closer and closer until they can come really close to it without freaking out completely, until
Mhm.
they're like, okay, this isn't so bad. Then you up the ante a little. Maybe you put a bunch of them down, or you put them in a pile and knock them over, or you make something a little bit louder. With penny cans, you can start with one penny can and then have 5 penny cans. Then you put the penny cans in a plastic tub so they roll around and they have to move them around to get their toys. Then you put the penny cans in a steel tub or a bathtub and let them bang them around in there until they're jumping in and out of the tub and they're getting the penny to they'll go in and get their treats no matter what. They're not scared of it anymore. And that's really good for them to be able to do.
I have just a quick little story. I would love to get your feedback on it. But I had a dog named Sugar Bear who was kind of an earth constitution. She was mostly like lay on the couch and make everyone happy, but she had a little bit of wood in her because she would go to the dog park and like boss everyone around. So I was like, I don't know what you are, but I just wanted to. She had severe separation anxiety to the point that she ate her way out of 2 crates, which I didn't even know you could do that. And then she completely took all the all of the wall to wall carpet, like all. When I came home once, it was like all pulled up from the sides, and she ate like blinds, and she also ate a computer. But anyway, so I actually helped her, and I want to get your feedback on this. I gave her like 5 kavas, which you guys shouldn't really do because it causes liver issue. You should get the liver checked. But anyway, I gave her like 5 kavas, probably a valerian or 2. Like I basically herbally kind of knocked her out. And then I started doing the thing you talked about where you open the door with a treat. Like, so I would come home and she would be like freaking out. And I would just put that, she wouldn't see me. I would just have my hand going in the door with the treat.
Mm-hmm.
And so between that kind of pattern interrupt and the herbs, just using those short term, I think I only used them like a week. She completely cured for the rest of her life. And I guess I'm just wondering, I
Yay!
know, it was cool. And then of course then as soon as you cure a dog like that, everyone's like, I want your dog. Like, well, a week ago you didn't,
I
guaranteed.
know.
So she was
So
at the
true, so
shelter.
true.
Like all my animals are always rescued. But I also just wanted to say a quick thing. We have a Dr. Walida. I hope I'm saying that right, and I'm not sure where you're from, and I don't know if you're a veterinarian, but if you are, just tell me in the chats. And we actually have 5 people. Yay! So please, if you have any questions at all, I'm reading that chat as we go along. Hey, do you have any opinions, Dr. Deb, on on fear, like specific fears, like when the dog is afraid Thursday of a garbage truck that comes every week, and to the extent that it might not go outside, or even just to go to the bathroom. Is something like that, are you thinking, okay, how can we balance the water, like the fear, the kidney, or are you just thinking,
No,
I'm just kind of curious what you
that's a
think about
water
that.
issue. When it's really fear like that, it's a water issue. You still want to do the desensitization work. And a lot of dogs still need to develop braveness. They have to, it's like, and the first thing I would do is record it, get a recording of it, like a video with sound and everything,
Oh, that's a good
so that
idea.
you can use it in the house and you can associate it with food and toys and playing and games and lots of fun things, that so that he's getting it more than once a week. It's hard to work on once a week. Now, you can't simulate everything with the video because, especially a garbage truck, there's a smell and a sound that you can't associate with it. And you also don't know what happened trauma wise. If it's an adopted dog, they could have gotten almost hit by a garbage. Somebody could have thrown them away and they ended up in a garbage truck. It's like you don't know what happened. So basically, you need to ease them out of it. And I was also going to say too about using the valerian. It's the same reason people use drugs for behavior issues, because sometimes they help them break the pattern that they're using, but you still have to do the training. I end up seeing these dogs that are on, Prozac for years and years and years because nobody ever did the training. And it's like the minute they take them off, they revert and they get worse. And so
That makes sense.
you have to do the training to build them up so that they don't have the fear, and then you slowly back down on the drugs. Kava
Right.
is really safe if you can get a source that doesn't have the skin on it. It's the skin that has the astrolic or astratil, I can't think of the name of it, but there's
The
a poison in
alkaloids
the
that are
skin
bad for the
that
liver.
kills their liver.
Cool. I mean,
And
that's good
so
to
you just
know.
have to be very careful of where you get it from, because in the cultures that use kava, they peel them by hand before they make anything out of them. But that's way too labor
It really
intensive.
helped her just chill, because I find that these dogs need so much, the doses, just because they're so amped up. It's like,
Yeah, sometimes
wow.
you need some kind of chemical intervention to help
Yeah.
calm them down. But you still have to build up your leadership, and you have to build up their braveness. And so between those two things, that gives them a stable base so that they can live in a world and feel safe. So
So valuable. At some point, I want to touch base with you on scent work or nose work, because I have seen that completely change dogs into like confident dogs.
what are you
Um,
doing though when you're doing scent work? You're learning a skill, you're
mhm.
getting better and better and better at it, and people cheer when you do it right. You're
Okay,
building confidence. It's
okay.
any agility, obedience, as long as it's positive. And
Mhm.
scent work is very positive. You find the thing and then you go out and you get to play and jump around and be crazy.
Yeah, I always
So
think like the dog's are always like, look, I can do something that you
yeah,
as a human
exactly,
can't
exactly.
do.
Most
I'm
dogs
gonna try
love
it.
being
Dogs are really,
successful, just like people. It's like it's hard to practice and you don't always want to do it, but once you get good at it, you like it, then it's
mhm.
fun. Then you want to do it all the time.
That's so awesome.
I've had a German short hair who was a obedience addict. I mean, I back then I used a toy pinch collar for precision training with her.
Mhm.
You show her that collar, she would dance. Like,
She
put it
loved
on,
it, huh?
put it on,
Somebody
keep
likes the
going,
pink
yes,
collar.
yes. It's like, and
Is that
it's like
something
she
that
loved it. And
would
then the next one we had was like, retrieving, seriously? She couldn't care
why does
less.
it have to work?
She just, the first one was metal, loved to work, just wanted to do it and do it and do it and do it. And the second one was fire. And it's
Mhm.
like, can't we just play? Couldn't you,
I
I
love
just jump on you? Couldn't we just run
um,
around in the field?
That's awesome. Well, I just want to give a quick shout out to some people that are on the list now. We got Cheryl and Ording. I know we have Brennan. Thank you, Brennan, in Mount Vernon. And we have somebody named Don who I don't know. I just know on a different one, he said he wasn't my mother, which was really funny. And so actually, Don has a question about that I did want to ask you as well. And that is, any thoughts on a 5-month-old lab who constantly bites the owners? Does great with other dogs in 5 months. So will bite other people, but mostly the owners. This is a tough
And
one.
what's the owner like?
Okay, let me just finish it. I'm almost done. They've worked with quite a few vets and trainers. So many trainers, many vets. Ooh, sounds like our kind of case, huh, Deb? Especially yours. Oh, it went away because it's oh, Dawn is me and Brandon. Ooh, you guys, I went and I made it big. Okay, I didn't realize that. So thank you, Brennan. Okay, so basically they've worked with a few vets, trainers, used herbal remedies and medications, but seems to randomly lose his mind and attacked unprompted. So what do you
What's
think
the
about
breed?
that?
What's
They
the
said
breed?
a lab, a 5-month-old lab.
Okay. Any other health issues?
I don't know. We'll have to see if he can hear you. So hopefully he'll type that in the thing when he comes. We'll see if he has any other health issues. Brandon, does he have any other health issues? Let me see. He hasn't gotten back to me on that yet, but he probably will in a second. Hey, could I
Just
my
found the
question-
chat. This is a new.
Yeah, we found the chat. Okay, no, so
Found
you
the
don't know
chat.
what I know.
Oh, I can look at that.
I think I got something. Okay, so, the owners are middle-aged, one male and one female, wife and a husband. And then I think she's asking also about like other health issues, Brennan. So I do have a question about rage. Could a 5-month-old dog show rage? Okay, he doesn't know of any other health.
Rage is, yes, it can show up in a 5-month-old dog. I don't
Mhm.
see rage. I think I've seen 2 cases. I have one right now that I'm questioning if it's a
Mm.
rage case or not. He's 7 and he
Years
sits on
old?
her all the time. Yeah.
He's
And
seven
I
years
haven't
old?
been
I
able to
thought
get
rage was
needles in him
like.
yet, but I did get him on herbs. So,
Mm.
and he's doing way better just with um, building up confidence training. I've been working with the owner. The owner was inadvertently um, feeding the behaviors. It's like to get him away, to keep him from biting her, she'd throw food. So he attacks her, she gives him food. And
No.
a lot of people don't understand that sometimes they can create behaviors and they can get worse because your timing is a little off. It's not that, you need some kind of control, especially like a lab who's 5 months old. 5-month-olds are, like 10-year-old kids. It's like
Bad.
they want to go out and do their own thing, and they don't want you to tell them what to do, but they're too little to just let them be adults.
Yeah.
And so you have to put some brakes on them. And so, they may need to have a leash on the dog that they can just step on the leash if he gets near them. So if he
Mhm.
jumps, God grabs his collar and pulls him down, and you had nothing to do with it. I'm not touching the leash. I'm just got my foot on it.
Yeah.
um, but you need to have some limits on the dog. They shouldn't have free access to things if they don't have the ability to behave themselves.
I mean, a lot of
And
people will let that kind of dog sleep in their bed or be up on the couch, and it's like,
exactly,
he's
and
fighting.
where it's like, who's the boss here? The boss
Mhm.
to a dog is who controls the food and who controls the territory. And if your dog is sleeping in your bed and you feed them whenever they tell you to, then they're the ones in control. And so
Mhm.
you have to put some controls on things. You have to make them work for things. They don't always like it. And you sometimes you have to step on that leash to keep them from biting you. But once they learn, this is how you get it by
Mhm.
sitting. Oh, yes, that was good. And they get the treat. You have to play this game of, am I going to give the treat? Did I get what I wanted?
Mhm.
How much do I need? How far have they gone? You have to keep building it slowly. If you go too fast, you'll lose them. They'll regress. And so you have to be slowly, carefully building them up to the point where they can handle more. The
Okay.
same with if you're desensitizing to noise, you have to start with the noise far, far, far away or on a very, very, very low volume until they're comfortable with it. Then you turn it up a tiny bit and you keep turning it, but you can't just go all the way from 0 to 1. It doesn't work that way. You have to
Yeah,
build them up slowly.
people are not usually very patient. But I do have a question. They say that the veterinarian involved here says the dog is psychologically broken in the dog's brain.
Is the dog a certified behaviorist? I mean, is the veterinarian a
Well,
certified
no,
behaviorist?
no, she's another holistic vet though, so no, no. But what is the definition of rage? Is there like an actual definition for it?
No, they don't know what causes it. A lot of dogs have it. It looks like a seizure. It's like their eyes dilate. They have no
Oh, I
control. They
have
can't.
seen
They don't
that.
stop to visual, physical, or
Hmm,
verbal cues at all.
hmm.
And it happens like that. Now that's why I was wondering if this dog hadn't been coming around so well with just training, I would be Rage was on
Gotta
my
get your,
list
yeah,
because he
you're
was
patient.
vicious. He did the whole dilated eyes, and she was describing other possible focal seizures, like snapping at things that weren't there, and seeing things or hearing things that weren't there. That's a so-so because he's got some herding dog in him, and they have really good ears. I mean, and they have really good eyesight. And there could be an ant on the wall way over there that you don't see, and that maybe it's not really true. But fly snapping behavior, where they look like they're biting at a fly, but there's nothing there, is a known focal seizure. And so their rage syndrome is not very common, though. You don't see it very often. You can have it in labs, but it's not common in labs. They're not one of the, springers are the
What are the
typical
most common? I think I know about Goldens getting it. I have
springer,
seen Aussies,
English Springer Spaniels.
English Springer Spaniels. Who knew?
Yeah, that's Springer Rage is what it was originally called,
Springer
but they're
Rage.
finding it in other breeds now
That's so
too.
sad to have.
Almost all of them get put to sleep because it's so uncontrollable. Um, but I think sometimes it really is a behavior thing.
Yeah.
And it's because they've gotten away with it and it worked. Dogs are real into figuring out how to do it, how to make it work. And if they don't like something that the owner is doing and they figured out how to drive them out or get what they want from them, they use it. They take advantage. And some people are very timid about doing things, and that doesn't show
I
well
mean, it's
from a
scary when a
leadership
dog's coming
standpoint.
at you, I have to say. I mean,
I
I'm
would go
scared.
too. You have to protect yourself. And I've told people the same thing with small children that have dogs that are like that. I go, you need to think about getting rid of this dog. And it would be very, very difficult to place a dog like that, which
Mm-hmm.
means you'd probably have to
Impossible.
put him to sleep.
They do.
And
Yeah.
because it's dangerous to your
Awful.
children. You can't explain to a 2-year-old not to
Yeah.
get in their face, and if the dog took offense and that's what he learned was to go wild and that's how he got what he wanted, then it's a danger to the family. And so,
Is there,
um,
okay, I was just
but
gonna
I
ask.
think sometimes, and I've had this problem with couples too, where the dog doesn't do it with the husband, but he definitely does it with the wife.
Mhm.
And
It sounds like they need
usually you
that,
have to
yeah.
find someone who can work with the wife because they're scared now. If they've gotten bit, I would be scared if a dog was biting me on a regular basis. But they have to develop enough braveness. The human has to develop enough braveness and a way to control the dog. Maybe they need to put a muzzle on the dog when she works with the dog. A basket muzzle, he can eat treats and he can drink water, but he can't attack her. And a leash to keep him from jumping on her. It's like, or somebody else holding the leash if she can't do the foot thing, so that
Do you
she
ever
can work with the
use,
dog without getting hurt.
do you ever use citronella spray in a situation like that? It's
Yeah,
negative,
but
I know.
it's kind of like using pinch collars. It's like if you have a dog that has learned a behavior that is effective for them to get something that they want, and then you do something to hurt them. So citronella isn't like mace, but if you've ever had it sprayed in your face, and if you think about how sensitive a dog's nose is, getting it sprayed on their nose, that's hard. That's
Mhm,
bad. And
mhm,
so it's a negative thing. It makes them associate whoever did it or whatever was going on at the time with
mhm,
something bad, and that
mhm,
makes them more likely to attack it. And
mhm,
so um, I would probably be looking more at things like ground feeding, where you hand feed and throw it on the ground so that the
mhm.
dog associates the person with throwing it on the ground. And maybe
Mm.
there's a fence between you and the dog, between her and the dog,
Wow.
so that the dog can't get to her and can't tell her what to do, but she can offer, sit. If you don't want to sit, that's okay. You don't have to, but I won't throw the food unless you do, you know?
Mm,
And it's you have to keep your emotions out of it. If you
mhm,
feel like you're training and getting mad, stop training.
mhm.
Go do something else for a while because madness has emotions like that have no place in your
Mhm.
training. Um, Sometimes
Have
getting
you ever?
excited does help. I saw a golden retriever go from the slowest golden retriever I've ever seen on an agility course um, to the fastest golden retriever I've ever seen on an agility
Wow.
course to just because his owner got fun and silly with him and made him chase her.
Yeah, you want to make everything a game, or at least, yeah, take the pressure off the animal, right? I have
Yeah.
another question about your rage or your potential rage case that you're working with. Could you talk us? I know you don't want to share too much about the herbs because, of course, you should have a Chinese diagnosis. But could you talk to us just like step by step about what you were thinking? Like what
So for
const?
him, he's got a liver cheese stagnation problem.
Okay, that dog has a liver
Okay,
cheese
and
stagnation.
he's never learned how to have grit, how to be have to wait for something that he wants. He just wants it now. He's like a little kid. I want it right now. And so he's never learned to wait. So we started working training wise on making him wait. Microseconds at first, but we're working up to no, you just be patient. You have to wait. Good. And then sometimes we feed by hand and sometimes we throw it and let him go run and get it so he can work off his excess because they get excess. They get all mad and tight and then they blow up. And when they have a short fuse, because they've never learned to have a long fuse, then they blow up and you don't even see it coming. When I was working with him, I saw it coming every time. So it's like the signs were there. The things like we were talking about with this other case, where his eyes change, they dilate a lot of times. They stare, and they stick, and then they dilate. Like it that's basically what it looks like. And to be able to you have to be able to see that, sometimes with the really confident rage cases their ears stay forward. With a fear-based case their ears are going to go back and their tail may tuck. Then you can have them be aggressive and just as mean looking, but they're more like snapping with their head kind of laid back, their tail tucked underneath them, as opposed to in your face. And so the the more aggressive aggression type cases often have a liver component. So in Chinese medicine, one of the things that depending on what else I find with the pulses and stuff. But free and easy wanderer is a pretty safe choice, which is Chaosan. Happy, relaxed wanderer. There's lots of names for it, but it's the same thing. It's just a few herbs, and it's a pretty safe formula. Most
Yeah.
animals can take it safely. Um, Doses are basically if you have T pills, it's like 1 T pill per 10 pounds. And free and easy I use for aggressive cats. I use for dogs that are having trouble because they don't have it fused. You have to do the training at the same time, but sometimes it gets them to a level where you feel like I might be able to do something without getting bit.
Yeah.
And that's why the same reason people put them on drugs. The drugs are way more difficult to deal with, especially in a
Mhm.
young dog. That dog's still growing. He's only 5 months old. And
Mhm.
I
I
have they,
mean,
I'm wondering if they've tried sending him out to a trainer. Like,
yeah, we can
will he
ask.
work for a trainer and not work for me?
Brandon, did they send him out to a trainer? Maybe he'll let us know.
Well,
It
it
sounds like,
gives you, it tells you that it's more the owners. It's a
mhm.
mismatch between the
Yeah,
owners and the
that sounds
dog.
like it. Oh
And
my gosh,
especially
how
during
sad.
COVID, a lot of people got animals and they got what they could find because the
Mhm.
shelters all got cleared out. Everything, it's like, oh, I want a puppy. I want a, it's the only one. I'll take it, And then it turns
Yeah,
out that it had all kinds of
it's like,
behavior problems.
maybe not
So
such a great idea. I
when
know.
I test a litter, I go and look at a whole bunch of traits on the litter, depending on what I'm looking for, what kind of dog I want, how I want it to act with my family and with me, what I want
Mhm.
to do with it. Do I want to do competition? Do I want to hunt? Do I want to, what do I want to do with it? Do I want somebody who's going to help me guard my house? What do I want? And so, and there's tests that you can do when in the litter with the puppies to
Mhm.
figure out who's going to be better at that than somebody else.
Mhm.
And some of it goes with the five element. If you want somebody who's out there and gorgeous and I know everything I want, then, wood dogs look really great in the ring. They stand up and they look crazy good. It's a,
Um,
and, but that's why we now have aggressive golden retrievers, which we never had when I was a
we
kid.
never had that. Yeah.
Never.
So
And
I mean, a
now
lot
they're
more
fairly
behavioral
common
problems.
because in the ring, they look really good. I'm gorgeous and I know it.
Oh,
And they're
they bred
standing
for
up and
that.
their chests are out but that's an
Mhm.
aggressive posture.
Yeah, you're
And that's what they're
right.
breeding for. And that's what they got.
Brenda says, as far as this dog that they were talking about, this aggressive 5-month-old dog that's
Yeah, it says
biting.
he works. I've got his thing up. It said he works with 3 trainers. One he works with every week. So my question is, what kind of training it is? There's a lot of different type of training.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
it's, I know, I'm
the
really bad because I criticize positive training. It's just become a treat fest. I mean, I am a
but just
positive
being a
trainer,
treat
but
trainer is not going
it's
to
like,
handle this
it makes me
dog.
crazy. It's just like 50 treats and the dog doesn't know how to put it all together. It says they've
Well,
tried.
and the person doesn't know how to put it all together. You can't just keep treating. You have to know
Mhm,
how to wean them off. You have to get to
mhm,
the jackpot area. You have to be able to know that that was good enough, but that wasn't good enough. And
mhm,
it takes more than, I don't know what kind of trainer it is. And some
mhm.
trainers are like, this dog's being aggressive,
And then they're
put a
aggressive back.
choke
I know
chain on
that's
it.
not
And
gonna work.
hopefully not. He's only 5 months old. He hasn't even closed his
It's
plates
hard to
yet
know all those
in
kind
his
of
neck.
people out
So
there.
that would be really
They tried the gabapentin
dangerous.
and they tried the trazodone, and those haven't worked. Have you ever used Prozac and herbs together on a tough case
Yes,
like this?
I have, but you have to be very careful when you mix Prozac and herbs because they have similar things that are happening. But with the puppy, I would want to make sure, I would look for someone who does concept training. It's a
Concept training.
different kind of training where you're actually teaching the dog to have certain feelings, basically. I
Hmm.
didn't even know anything about it. I think it's been around for a while, but I didn't
Hmm.
know anything about it until I got my last dog, who's 7 now, and she got kicked out of all of her obedience classes.
Well, that's a typical vet
And
dog.
because she just was bored and it wasn't fun and she didn't
Oh,
want to put up with it. And
oh no.
she's half hound dog and half German
Oh,
short hair.
yeah, those dogs can be
And she
difficult.
loves to kill
Right.
things. That's her favorite thing to do.
Oh, oh
Her mother
no.
was a blue tick hound who hunted mountain lions, and her father was a German short hair who hunted deer and pigs. And she's got it all. So, um, but she's super smart. So luckily, her trainers didn't give up on her. They didn't want her coming to class because she was too disruptive for the rest of the class. I would work outside the class with her, so she got exposed to dogs and stuff. But they started her in scent training. And she, by the time she was 7 months old, she had 3 scents and she was hunting full rooms for scent work. And then 7 months old, okay, 7 months old is a teenager. She decided it was way more. She'd go find it and then she'd grab it and start throwing it around the room and running around with it and chewing it and bouncing it up and down.
Oh man.
and climbing on the furniture and climbing up things to
Wow.
try
She
to
was
get
so
something in
excited she
higher
found
places.
it.
And she's a
Oh
nut.
man.
So we put her in agility, and she's been fine in agility.
Mm,
She one dog at a time in the ring. She doesn't have to deal with other dogs.
yeah.
She has a crate that she waits in, and she doesn't like waiting. So we don't
Did you
compete, but
have to use
she's
herbs
good in
with your
agility.
own dog or any, I mean, herbs or medication or anything with your own dog, or was
I
that
only treat her when I see a pattern problem, and she
okay?
gets pattern problems occasionally. What have I used on her?
What's
Um,
your constitution? Is it a fire constitution?
she's fire water,
Fire water. Okay. Oh
fire
wow,
water,
that's a
which
combo.
the water tempers the fire,
Mm.
but she gets scared of things, and then when she gets scared of things, she looks like a raccoon. She curls into a C shape and bites like
Oh
like snapping,
wow.
she's
Man.
never she gets in fights fairly often, but she's never bit through the skin of a dog. She looks like she's killing them, but she's not. She's killed many small animals. She's very good with rats and gophers and
I guess
squirrels.
you
And
don't have any rodents at your house, huh?
no, I don't have any cats either. So
Okay, no
we have
cats.
lots of rodents. So it's just part of the problem. She's doing her job. So, although I saw competition on my way in the other night, there's a little fox that's been coming in her gates. And I'm like, oh, good, come and eat some of these mice. But finding something that your dog likes to do and they're good at and it's fun for them, and then work on the things that you need. You need a recall. You need to be able to say stay. She hates staying, but she'll do it. She has to stay long enough for me to get far enough away that I can sort of keep up with her on the agility course.
Wow.
Find something that they like to do and work that into their training.
Yeah.
Concept training is a pretty cool thing.
How does
Just trying
concept
to remember.
training, how does it work and is there a website people can go to
Yeah,
to find a
the
trainer?
way I first found it was through a trainer who's a veterinary behaviorist in England, called Absolute Dogs. I don't know that he's still with that group, but they use concept training. And it was him who was a veterinary behaviorist, and then his partner was international agility dog trainer. And they used it for all kinds of dogs. And
Hmm.
I liked the precision that they were getting with it, and I liked that the dogs loved it. They love doing it. They're so excited to work.
Mhm.
And some of the dogs I work with are insane. They're
Mhm.
crazy. They're just like super hyper, which I guess is good for agility. But,
Yeah.
but it worked really well for Elsie because basically I was keying into, it's like, well, it's games. You're playing a game that's teaching a thing. And one of the
Mm.
first games that they teach is called boundary training, which is basically go to a raised bed, and they use a raised bed so you can tell whether or not all 4 feet are on it. Because if you use a carpet or a mat or something, um, or even a flat bed, when they kind of lean over the edges and there's 2 feet on or not 2 feet on, that can be an issue. Um, so but if it's a little raised platform, they make them out of PVC and sling across the top, and they jump up there, and they're on it or they're not on it, and you practice. When you're on it, you get lots of food. When you're not on it, nothing happens.
Mhm. And why is
If
it
you
so
want them to go off
important?
of it,
Why
what?
is it so important for for
Because
the
what you're doing is you're establishing a place that's safe, that your dog really likes, that's
mm,
portable, that you can move and take with you
mm,
places. And
mm,
what you do is as you're training it, is you start with not even telling him to go to the place. You just put some treats on there, and then when they get up there, you give them more. You don't even
mm,
tell them. They just go there because that's where the treats are. And
mm,
so they get this idea that if I go here, I get treats. Okay, I'm going to go here. Pretty soon you start looking over and they're on their bed. Oh, throw them a treat. Cool. It's like
mm,
you start giving them their treats on the bed. Then you start working with getting them off the bed, where you throw one treat off They go get it, and while they're off and not looking, you put 2 on, and they just wait until they go back. They get more for being on the bed than they do for being off the bed. It's fun to go run and get the treat, but you get more for being on the bed. And then you keep working that up where, okay, now I'm going to move around the kitchen. If you get off the bed, nothing happens. But if you stay on the bed, I'll turn around and give you a treat. And no matter what happens, so you build up their ability to handle changes in their environment while they're staying on the bed. And then you can start walking around. Then you start doing things like knocking on the wall. Can you stay on the bed and have somebody at the front door?
Yeah. Nice
So you're building up their ability. You get a ball. You get something that normally would pull them off the bed. They don't get it unless they stay on the bed. And then you give them a get it. Get it means run off the bed and get whatever I threw. But if I didn't say get it, then you don't get it. And if you have multiple dogs too, you can use the dog's name and then the command. So they know that we're working and you have to stay on your place until it's your turn. So it does take, it takes time, but it's small snippets of time every day. And if you're home with your dog, then you've got the time, you've got the snippets. And the games are fun. There's lots, and the Absolute Dog has thousands of games. But every game has a point. You're training something. Like you're teaching him to walk nicely on a leash. You're teaching him to trade. Like you've got 2 toys and you take this one, okay, and then you take it and you run away with it. But I still have one just like it, and I'm playing without you. And pretty soon they come back to play with you because you're more fun than it is to steal it and run away.
That's
Looks like my
awesome.
sun is going down, so it's gonna show.
They just have you can read in the chat there, Deb, but just so I can tell people, it looks like this dog is pretty well behaved, but he just loses his mind like that. So it really does sound like a rage
I see that.
case. But
I don't think so. I think
no?
if you have somebody, maybe even videotape it.
Oh, that'd be good. We need a
Videotape it so
video
you
of it.
can see what's happening specifically. Almost always, like with this one that I have, I don't think it's rage because I'm changing it too much. And so if it was
Rage is in
rage,
the genetics.
you really can't change it. And this dog is definitely way better. In fact, I might even be able to put needles in him next time I see him. So he came running into the office to see me instead of growling and trying to bare his teeth when I even looked at him.
Okay,
So,
is there an acupuncture point that you think of right away? Like, I really want
right on the
acupuncture.
top of your head, GV20. You can always
GV20,
rub that with your finger, right between his ears, right in the middle of the top of your head. You can always rub that. T-touch, where you grab the base of the ears and pull off to the side to the tip of the ear. That calmly, quietly, slowly. Okay. The other thing is, with these dogs, you have to pay attention to what you're doing around them, because sometimes it's really mild or minor. It's like not paying attention is what's getting them mad. And so you have to be clear what you're doing and clear with the dog. But having somebody videotape you while you're training,
It might be
sometimes you can go back and slow it down and look and go, oh wow, look at that.
I mean, it'd be great if they could get a
back.
video of
His
the
lips
whole
came back,
interaction.
his ears came back. His eyes squinted, his eyes dilated. It's like you can look and see what set them off. And then how did the person respond exactly when that happened? Maybe they looked
You need
away
the whole
because they were
family
thinking of
video.
something else. And that looking away pissed him off. And so he attacked. And so
it's usually something
finding
unconscious.
what the cues are can be very pivotal in helping these dogs to figure it out. And if it's truly random, I mean, the lady was explaining things to me, but when she started explaining, I'm like, okay, he's jumping in your face because he wants this toy and you're keeping it away from him, and then he bites you in the face. That's frustration. You know, it's like you're frustrating the dog. And so you have to be cognizant that you're doing that and that there's a way to change it. Okay, so let's play this game differently. Let's not put the toy here by my face. Let's get it away from me and make it longer, or get a stick with it. And so that he's chasing it around out there. Are they getting enough exercise? Do you have frustration build up from lack of exercise? A 5-month-old lab, especially if he's from a
Like
field line,
10
he's going
miles
to
a
need
day.
a ton of exercise. And
Mhm.
a lot of people just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, so
You
much
can't
fun.
run them on a bike. They're too young. You can't, there's a lot of things you can't do. It's still basically walking on a leash or going to some play with them.
And I have you see that in the chat, and that's what I was just going to get to. Boy, did he ever read my mind. You guys, I was going to ask Dr. Deb if she does any online consults. I know,
I'm not, California won't let me do things online
well, they
unless you're
might not let
in
you do,
California.
well, you might not let you do telemedicine, official telemedicine, but they sure as heck would let you do a behavioral consult that's not veterinary
Yeah,
related. There's
they
no medical.
our California CVN or California
Oh,
Veterinary Board are really weird. I mean, we only got permission to do
hmm.
telemedicine in January. I
Okay,
mean,
I might be able to facilitate something with that, Deb, because I'd want to help this dog, and I think you could help the dog.
I can
So,
talk to a vet. I can talk to any vet.
oh, well, it sounds like they've got a
So
million
I can
vets
talk to a
involved. So there
vet.
you
I
go.
just can't. Yeah, I can do consults with the vet. I just can't do
Yeah,
consults with an
and
owner
maybe,
that I haven't seen the animal, or
yeah, I know.
I
It's
can do
it's establishing
telemedicine in the state of California. But if the owner and the pet are not in the state, I can't do it. If you're in
okay.
the state, then I could.
Okay, okay, we'll try to, there, yeah, I have a couple, it sounds like, yeah, Brandon and the vet, we kind of know, we have a little circle of people that we know, so we might be able to facilitate something.
Yeah, yeah.
We
And
have
look at Absolute
21
Dog.
people. Go ahead.
Look at Absolute Dog's website too, because they're a good
Absolute
website.
Dogs website. Okay, great to know. And any other websites you think could help? I was thinking of the scent work website, nose work, scent work. Is that a good idea?
Nosework is always a good idea, and it's fun for
Mhm.
dogs.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's there's several different methods of teaching it. So you have to. I'm. I either turn you towards the sun, or
Oh no, don't worry. Yeah, I know. It's well,
um,
believe me, you
it's
guys
just
know we're
coming
not
down through my
technical
window.
people. Yeah. So
Scent work, any formal game, fun things to do are always good. If it's fun for the dog, it's a good thing to do. And
okay.
so, and sometimes it's breed specific. My dog loves tribal.
Okay.
Tribal is pushing big balls around like they're sheep. You're herding balls.
Oh.
And she loves it. She has no herding in her background at all, none. But she thinks pushing this giant ball around is way fun. And so we do
Aw.
tribal because she likes it. And
Aw.
and it's something that
Gotta
usually you
find
can
something
do.
for that dog. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can, and also she can get titles on video. She doesn't have to go anywhere to do it. She just goes to
Oh.
school, and then her trainer takes. We have to set the course up, and then she does the test, and then they send it in, and she gets her points that way, so she doesn't have to go
Well, that's
to
fun. Well,
competitions or
that's neat
anything.
that you can do that. Well, I just wanted to wrap things up just because we're out of time. I wish we weren't because I think me and Deb and I, and it looks like we have 23 people that joined us. Thank
Huh?
you. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to edit it a little bit, maybe not too much, and then I'm put it on Spotify on my podcast channel, and also I'm going to try to do it on Apple, but it'll be on YouTube, so you guys can all
I do
watch.
YouTube. I can do YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
YouTube
And I
gets
have,
along with Max. Chrome,
um,
not so much.
what is the best way for their vet to get in contact with you? If you email me, I can put you in contact. Well, do you want to share your email, Dr. Deb, or should I just do it with certain people? Do you want to
You
make
can do it
your
with certain
email?
people. If they
Okay,
have a veterinary behaviorist in Portland,
they
they're
do,
going to
yeah.
be more towards the drug side of
They
things.
will. The behaviors will always be druggy type
Drug,
people.
yeah,
I
drug
mean,
related.
they're vets, but they're thinking,
Yeah,
it's kind of like a psychiatrist in human medicine.
yeah. And
Mhm.
so
Well,
because
that's
they're,
fine.
and a lot of these cases, I mean, I never had drugs when I was a trainer, and I had pretty good success rates with my dogs. And I don't have a narcotics license. I can
Okay.
prescribe regular drugs, but if they want to do, also because I don't do blood work and all that, and you need it
Yeah.
when you're on drugs, you need to be able to do the blood work. So I always refer them
Mhm.
back to their regular vet. I'm the
Mhm.
other vet. If you want to look at my website, it's myothervet.com, and so that you can get
myothervet.com.
information. You can get information there.
That's great, you guys.
Myothervet.com, no spaces. And
I love that. I love
I'm
that.
in the Monterey Bay area,
Yep,
little town called SoCal, and
yep.
in
Great little
California.
office there.
So if you're in the area or you're in California even, I can talk to you directly.
Oh,
So,
that's
and
awesome.
I
Thank
can
you.
also talk to your vet or if
Yeah, we
I'll
can
talk
work
to the
through
board and
vets.
see if they'll let me do behavior. The problem is I have a license, so I have something to lose. If
Yeah,
I was
in
just a
California,
dog
I
trainer, it
mean,
wouldn't
people
matter.
don't realize
I
that a
just do dog
lot,
training.
we have problems with the patient, with establishing a valid patient-doctor relationship, and
Yeah.
you have to really work within your laws. And so people think sometimes we're not friendly or we're not helping. We really want to help, but a lot of times
There's
we're,
good Chinese medicine up in your area too, up in Oregon and in Washington. There's really good traditional Chinese medicine people. And so
yeah,
if you can find one of those that
yeah,
is certified in herbal and you're going to need herbs,
yeah,
acupuncture might help.
yeah.
One of my very first acupuncture cases was a Demodex case in a puppy who
Mhm.
just couldn't get rid of, they'd been on antifungals for many months and he was so young, he was starting to have liver problems. And, um, 3 acupuncture sessions, gone, completely gone,
Those
no herbs,
Demodex do
nothing.
really
But one
well.
of the side effects was, this is from a border collie from a family of working dogs,
Mhm.
was he got calmer. The other 6 dogs were still insane and attacked the door and were crazy. And she's like, he's gotten really calm. I said, is he doing okay in agility? Is he making his points? Oh yeah, he's great. He's doing super. And I'm like, I'm okay with that side effect.
Yeah, yeah, because they might have been kind of angry
Yeah,
and
so
kind of.
acupuncture, if it might be a good idea. Like I said, I have one right now that I can't get needles in yet, but I have
Yeah,
a
you're
feeling I'm
so
going
brave.
to
Oh
be
my
able to.
goodness. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited that we're doing these podcasts. And maybe we can, if we get enough people, I see 27 up there. You guys why don't you guys comment and tell me, hey, if you want Deb back, and then if we can if we can get some more topics that people feel like we left out. We talked about a lot of things, but thank you so much, Dr. Deb. I can't thank you enough. And thanks
Nice
everybody
to
for
see
joining.
you.
Nice to see you too, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Bye
Take
for now.
care.